Question. Real estate in California. What the Seriously, can someone help? What's an escrow? What's an ARM? What is an REO? What is pre-approval? Can I get pre-approval? Why is inventory so low? Why are interest rates so high? Oh, interest rates not so high? How low is low? How not so high is right.
Before you go down the road of questions, get expert help at championsofhome.com. California Association of Realtors. Who's your realtor?
Welcome to Secrets of a Sugar Daddy. Here's your host, Marcus.
Welcome to another episode of Secrets of a Sugar Daddy, the #1 sugar dating podcast in the world, where we pull back the curtains on the good and the bad. And Nikki, the shocking stories of sugar dating.
Super shocking.
We have some shocking stories occasionally. Now, we have a guest today, which I think you guys are going to find very interesting. But before then, we need to talk about Sugarpalooza 8. It's coming July 17th through the 19th, 2026. The reason I got to throw the year in there is because a lot of people binge our episodes years later, and they're like, I want to go. I'm like, well, sorry, it's come and gone now. You could probably find before and afters on the Patreon, like all kinds of, behind the scenes videos and photos of Sugarpalooza 8. But Nikki, you excited?
I cannot wait.
You've been to a couple of them, haven't you?
Yes, this will be my third, and they just keep getting better.
What do you enjoy about them?
I really like meeting everyone.
Yeah.
To me, it's like just a big boondoggle networking event.
Boondoggle?
Yep. With food.
With food and
food
drinks.
is always amazing.
Now, Nikki doesn't drink, but she has just as much fun.
I do. Yep.
I don't really partake that much either because I'm kind of running the show. I can't get sloppy. Lily will partake with you, though. You want to do some shots with Lily? Her and Trucker, they'll do some shots with you. But yeah, we've got a lot of fun planned. July 17th through 19th, we got a mixer at Jay's house. It's less than a year old, a couple $1 million. He paid for that. So it's a very nice, posh, upscale home there in Central Phoenix.
Yeah.
And you're going to enjoy those accommodations. And then on Saturday, we've got a pre-party. Actually, we're going again to his house for a couple hours just to get a little lubed up, some appetizers before we hit the party bus on the way to the venue. Party bus is so much fun.
Yep.
A lot of, I'll tell you what, there's been a lot of good videos coming off the party bus.
Yes, you see things you cannot unsee.
Yeah, that is true. So we've got the party bus taking us to Mesa Country Club, where we have a ballroom that's going to be the host of our dinner that night. I've got a really good selection of food for this party, and then we've got a band coming in from Southern California. They said they would come all the way to Phoenix and play for us, and they're playing one of my all-time favorite artists. She's currently one of the hottest artists in the land, Dua Lipa, and the band is called Levitating. So they're a Dua Lipa tribute band. We're going to play about 90 minutes. We got dance floor, photo booth, and you're just going to have the time of your life there. And then after the party bus will take us back to Jay's, and I don't know how late it's going to go. A lot of times it would take it back to my house, and then people would be out in my house just still partying in the pool, hanging out, and like to 2 a.m. I'm like, see you guys, I'm going to bed.
So nothing's at your house this time.
Somehow things end up there eventually, but nothing planned, nothing scheduled.
Okay.
So that'll be a lot of fun. And sleep in on Sunday, and then Lily and Trucker are holding a wonderful little brunch at their pad in Arcadia, which is a very trendy, upscale area of Phoenix. That you're going to enjoy that area, and you're going to enjoy seeing their house because they've done a lot of work to it, and they just love hosting like a little brunch. So
yeah, that was beautiful your last party. They had a great brunch. Their house is gorgeous.
And then we get sound bites from people, and that would try to throw those together into a podcast, and you get to hear kind of how it's going for our attendees. But you'll get to see I keep saying behind the scenes, you'll get to see videos and photos of the party. Of course, we'll blur out the faces to protect the innocent, but or the not so innocent. And that's going to be on our Patreon. We want you to join our Patreon, become a member. Even if you're a free member, we do value you. But we have tiers starting as low as $15 a month. And then we have some coaching and profile reviews available. But it opens up the entire site, just the basic tier. You'll get to see photos and videos. You'll get to hear all the episodes and extra sugars before the public. We have community chats on the line. And then women, I get a lot of messages from women saying they want to be a part of the women's only WhatsApp chat. Well, you're not going to get access to that unless you message me on on our Patreon. So you got to join our Patreon, at least pay 1 month, and then we'll get you set up with the women's only WhatsApp group,
which is a very valuable place to be.
Yeah, that actually is
good information.
That's worth the price of admission alone.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We have a guest, and it's all about sugar, and he has a matchmaking service, and we're going to let him talk about that and explain how he got into it and the current status of it and his thoughts about sugar dating and sugar matchmaking. Welcome, Patrick. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. Now, Nikki is the one who told me, hey, I've got this guy, and we need to interview him. How did you guys even meet? What's going on here?
Yeah, there's a little story behind that. So I'm always researching to try to find something other than seeking. other than dating sites, because I'm getting frustrated. So in my research, I came up with Patrick's business, which he'll tell us all about, and he'll tell everyone how to reach him there. But it's a sugar matchmaking service. And I thought, very cool, because in the vanilla world, when I was dating, I used matchmakers. And
did you really?
Yep.
How'd that go?
I love the concept. Basically because the matchmaker does all the work.
Yeah, but there's still so much relationship pressure on that.
There is. And at that time in the vanilla world, that's what I was looking for, something like that. Some, an end result, another marriage or whatever. So at that time, I was looking for someone, and the matchmaking service was great because they vetted the men really well, so safety wasn't an issue.
Was there times where they like, hey, I think you would be really great with Mark or John, and you looked at me and go, no?
Yes, that did happen a lot. It happened especially because I had an age range, and they kept giving me people outside of the age range, which bothered me. But the concept itself was good because they did connect me with men who were great, good fit. I had great dates. My safety was never at risk. I felt really comfortable. And I felt like it was better than the dating site. So when I saw a sugar matchmaking site, I thought, well, this is perfect. So I sent in my application to be put in their database because the women go in a database. But there, at the time, I think there was like a technical glitch or something. I wasn't sure my application actually went through. So I contacted them, and Patrick and I started having conversations as we were trying to work out the glitchy details and things like that. So I ended up getting into the database, but through our conversations, I started understanding how his business works and that they really don't advertise that much. It's always been word of mouth. And I thought, well, you would be a great guest for the show because we've got everything sugar related that we talk about here, and people would love to know more about this concept. So that brings us up to present day.
Yeah, so here you are, Patrick. I guess
here I am.
First of all, let's get a little history of you and how you even got into this world of sugar dating and sugar matchmaking.
Well, I've always been somebody that enjoyed connecting people. And when I was about 25 years ago, I became single, and I started in the wonderful world of online dating and have all kinds of great and bad online dating stories, as we all do.
So wait. This was 25 years ago?
25 years ago, I started in online.
Online dating was in its infancy back then.
No, 2001, it was still pretty, Match was around and things like that. It was still pretty It wasn't the dissatisfaction hadn't come. The frustration was still building.
Yeah.
And then I was a marketing guy, so I worked on a project called Dinner Date, which was a way for people to meet over different demographics, meet over dinner. I worked with a guy named Robert Earl, who invented Planet Hollywood. So we became kind of an expert on online dating, and saw that it was very flawed, extremely flawed. So I started sugar dating, which I enjoyed, which I didn't realize I was already doing. I just thought it was being generous and taking care of beautiful women, but apparently I was already sugar dating before I knew what it was. And went onto the website and started a friendship with a bunch of girls around the country who told me sugar dating is really flawed, that guys lie. And I said, well, girls lie too. They say, well, guys really lie, and here's how it hurts. So I spent about 2 years in research and development. They said, can you make it so guys don't lie? I said, I don't know. There's probably some money in it. So for 2 years, I had the idea for sugar matchmaking. And we went and we tried everything we could to see what guys lied about. We found that guys lie about just about everything on certain sites.
Oh, really?
And how could we make it so that they can't lie? So we went back 4,000 years to the matchmaking model: third-party edification, verification, and clarification. And we launched it first in California. It was called the Caviar Dating Club in Los Angeles. And it was similar to It's Just Lunch, putting beautiful women and rich men together over dinner. But we found that was kind of flawed, because the beautiful women got a nice meal, but the men got what they wanted, which was holding a woman hostage in Wolfgang Puck's at their new restaurant, looking really great with this beautiful woman, but weren't really being authentic about wanting to be in a sugar relationship. So then we invented the authentic matching process. In about 2011, 2012, we launched sugar matchmaking. We rolled that across the country. And what we did was we only wanted to be referrals. We didn't want to be a big advertising thing. We didn't want to compete with Seeking. We wanted to be the alternative. And we've kept very, very quiet for a very long time. We've serviced over 1,000 clients, but we have never promoted ourselves once.
Well, you said that you thought there might be some money in it. Why wouldn't you promote it a little more aggressively?
Well, there is money. We've always been happy, and I have had a backseat to the beautiful women that run the sugar matchmaking. But they seem to come in about every 5 years. There's a new generation that comes in, they get married, they find everything they want, and they leave. And sometimes I get brought back in and stuck running it. But I've always had other interests that I do. And now I have some health issues. But the board wants to really grow this thing to be some. I mean, we've done matches in 7 countries. We've done matches all over the country, from Fargo, North Dakota to London. I mean, we've done lots and lots of matches, lots of coaching. But we've never wanted to grow it to be something as big as it could be. Now we're debating how big do we want to be, how selective do we want to be, because we really only cater to the really great guys, the guys who really want to invest in this, really want to invest in ladies, really are classy, really are gentlemen, can get through our screening process.
Okay, so I want to be a customer of yours.
Sure.
What's the screening process look like?
We start with a pre-qualification phone call to see if you understand what sugar dating is and what you want out of sugar dating. What is your experience level? If you're one of these guys that's been on Seeking, and Seeking is no longer working for you, and now you're looking for girls that just meet you instantly for the girl of the week type of thing, and you're not really willing to invest, and you're doing something nefarious, you're not getting in. About 2 out of 5 guys get it through pre-qualification.
2 out of 5?
Wow.
2 out of 5 get through pre-qualification.
So you are picky. You are particular. All right.
Very, very.
Which, that's not a bad thing.
No.
It's a good thing.
Yeah. Then from there, they put in what we call a qualification fee, where they put a little bit of money in to see if they are serious or not, if they're just kicking the tires. and it goes towards their search, so there's no risk on their part.
Yeah.
We put them on the phone with some of the female matchmakers for about an hour to an hour and a half, and we go through a discovery interview where we learn everything about what they want, what they don't want, what their experience is, who they are, who they want to be, what they're shooting for in life, what they've accomplished so far, and really understand what they're about and what they're looking for.
You're listening to Secrets of a Sugar Daddy.
Question: real estate in California. What the Seriously, can someone help? What's an escrow? What's an ARM? What is an REO? What is pre-approval? Can I get pre-approval? Why is inventory so low? Why are interest rates so high? Oh, interest rates not so high? How low is low? How not so high is right?
Before you go down the road of questions, get expert help at championsofhome.com. California Association of Realtors. Who's your realtor?
Now back to the show with your host, Marcus.
All right. So these men that seek your service, do they have to have a certain net worth or just a certain disposable income? I mean, what are you looking for there? Because I've interviewed guys who are sugar daddies, quote unquote, who have said, I'm not wealthy. I just have a budget for dating that I'm willing to share.
That's well put and well explained. A lot of women get hung up on what is a guy's net worth or what is income, which means next to nothing. I know billionaires that during a couple of things that have happened in the last 15 years didn't have high disposable incomes, but they had $1 billion net worth.
Mm-hmm. I
know other guys that make $300,000-$400,000 a year as plumbers and carpenters that have a high disposable income. It's what is your disposable income for dating? What is it you're willing to invest and spend? If you don't golf, you don't fish, you don't hunt, and your major thing is dating, then you're probably going to be qualified. You don't have to have a specific net worth. But you have to be willing to spend and invest in the women. You have to be willing to be generous. You have to be, and we interview through that. And what is your definition of sugar? Which I'm sure we'll talk later on. Sugar isn't all about money. Sugar is a lot of different things. So we get that through our personality profile, through our interviews, through our psychological profile that we run on them, and we figure out, is this a good candidate for us or not?
Okay. You go through a vetting process with the men, kind of figure out if they're cut out for this. Who are these women that you're trying to match them with? Where are you finding them?
They're applying or being referred, and we have an abundance of women. We always say we can always use more extraordinary women.
Mm-hmm.
So we're looking for the whole package because that's what men are looking for these days. We're looking for beauty. We're looking for intelligence. We're looking for charisma. We're looking for extraordinary women who want to be in an ongoing relationship with a wealthy man.
Yeah, and I get that because I get messages every day on Seeking and these websites. And I'm trying to filter through, the ones that are just, looking for a quick hit, or the ones that are, are actually looking for a relationship, or, there's all kinds of different criteria that I'm looking for. And of course, you got to be attracted to them.
Mm-hmm.
Who sets up the financial component of that? Like, once you match them, do they negotiate it between them, or is it negotiated with you, or how's that work?
We have nothing to do with what happens between consenting adults. All we do is match based on what the woman has said they're looking for and what the man has said they're looking for. Now, obviously, there's different levels to sugar dating. We don't get involved in anything transactional, and that's why we only look for the ongoing relationship. But we don't mismatch either. If some girl has her last sugar daddy had a Learjet and she's only looking for that, we're probably not going to match her with somebody who's a little bit more grounded and just looking to pay our living expenses. So we don't mismatch, but we don't get involved in negotiation. Now, what we do is we coach women, we coach men on dating advice on how to get into these relationships. We coach on how to have successful relationships. So sometimes we're giving advice, but we're not negotiating any type of transaction ever under any circumstance.
Yeah. How long have you been doing this?
Under this Under this, 15 years.
15 years. How many marriages have you seen happen from this?
It's interesting. I was looking it up the other day. I talked to one of my guys. I told him I was going on the show, and he was one of our early clients. I wanted to see if he was still married. And he said, no, but I'm looking at it. I said, how long did that last? He said, well, 8.5 years. We used to make a joke saying that marriage is when we fail. But now we do embrace that a lot of these things do end in marriages. A lot of times men will come in and women will come in saying that they're looking for the sugar bowl and the sugar game and all that kind of stuff. But these relationships that we've brokered, go 8, 9, 10, 12 years sometimes.
Yeah,
So is marriage the end, or is marriage a success, or is marriage a failure? It depends on who you are.
Yeah. Yeah, Nikki and I were just talking on our last show about the extraordinarily large number of marriages and weddings that I've seen result from this style of dating. And I'm almost thinking that we're the ones doing it right and everybody else is doing it wrong because, a lot of people are going into it with no relationship pressure. They're going into it because hopefully the gentleman has achieved something in his life and he has something attractive about him, because not all men are extraordinarily handsome, but you become more handsome when your bank account has 7, 8, 9 figures, right? And usually if it has that amount of money in there, you've done something with your life. You've accomplished something, which is very attractive to women.
Correct. We, it's interesting because, sugar over the last 10 years especially has gotten a bad rap and people are not really understanding it. And I think sugar dating or, hypergamy or whatever is just common sense. If you're a beautiful woman or you're a woman in general, why wouldn't you want to date up? Why would you want to date down? Why do you want to go out to the Cheesecake Factory and have to pay the bill?
That's right.
Why wouldn't you want to elevate yourself? And dating is a great way to elevate yourself. And we also have mentorships and people who are just true friendships. But on the romantic aspect, why wouldn't you want more? And it's interesting, there's about 1,800 matchmakers in the country. And I always say, when you talk to anybody about dating, what is it you want? Do you want to meet someone tomorrow for a one-night stand? Or do you want to meet somebody tomorrow that you're spending the absolute rest of your life to the day you die with? And most people say somewhere in the middle. Most people say, I don't know. Most people say it's based on who I meet and how the relationship. So sugar dating to me is just intelligent people making a conscious decision to have great dating experiences. There's plenty of bad dating experiences out there. So why not start out with wanting to have a great dating experience? I think sugar dating does that.
Yeah, and I'd like to interject a story here. Once I put my application into Patrick's database, he almost immediately matched me with someone. It didn't work out. I didn't want to relocate. But this guy, I was really impressed. He had gone through the vetting process that Patrick explained. So I knew he was the real deal. I think his net worth was like $50 million. I think you had said, Patrick, something like that. He was about 10 years older than me, but he was a biohacker, which I'm really attracted to. So the age wasn't an issue. And he was very direct right from the start, which that's one thing about this dating style I appreciate is the direct communication. And he wanted to do a video call, not a phone call. And sometimes on Seeking, I get pushback when I ask for video calls. So I was impressed by that. And then right on the call, he was very clear about what he was looking for, what he wanted. He lived in New York. I'm in Arizona. So we talked about like what would the long distance dating be like. He was very direct that he could probably do long distance dating for a few months, but he couldn't travel a lot because his business is in New York and he couldn't leave a lot. So that eventually, after a few months of dating, he would want me to relocate out there. But he made it clear that everything would be handled financially during the dating. If there was a relocation, all that would be handled. I would be very well taken care of. during the dating phase, there didn't have to be intimacy. He'd put me up in some of the best hotels in New York, but he would still compensate me and take care of me financially.
What a dream, huh?
I was so impressed. That right there showed me that the guy was the real deal, and I was really impressed with Patrick's service and the way that the guys are vetted and the way that I was set up.
Now, is there a fee for women?
There's not a fee to get into the general database. There's a nominal fee for the VIP database. Mm-hmm. And then we do have, sometimes the girls want coaching, so they get coached by the other girls. Sometimes they want perspective in the guys. So we do have other services, but monetizing a female is not really what we're about. We're about, monetizing from the male side. And then we promote sugar dating in general. So people in the VIP database can ask questions and get counsel on anything from how do I negotiate an allowance, or how do I ask for this, or how do I find this. So we give out a lot of advice out for free. And then to the VIPs who we really concentrate on, we try to help any way we can.
Now, do you get men applicants that come on there that really have no clue what sugar dating is, or are they all pretty familiar with it going into it?
No, we get people who are completely clueless. Not clueless in a bad way or a good way. Just, they don't understand what this is about.
Yeah.
We also get wealthy men who have never really sugar dated, who want to use the service because they're trying to attract a wife that they know that their best lead is the fact that they are wealthy. I've got a couple clients that I got a good doctor in Atlanta right now who I think is a great guy, but he was told by regular matchmakers that he was difficult to match. The guy's got a great smile. He's only 5'7". He thinks that's a really big deal. I don't.
No, it's not as big a deal.
No.
No, he's very wealthy. He's very nice, and he's looking for a woman who's looking for that wants to elevate her life, who wants to have a guy who will provide everything that they would ever want from now, and start a family and have a kid. So we have that kind of client as well that comes through the authentic matching process, through sugar matchmaking.
What about the women's side? So I've met women from sugar dating sites who had no idea. They were asking me, how does this work? Yeah.
Well, we do get a lot of girls that don't know. There seems to be it's interesting. I was looking at some of the data before I was coming on here last week, and it seems that we get three types of girls. We get girls who consider themselves experts on sugar dating, whatever that means, and they're looking to be matched right away tomorrow with someone with a Learjet. Then we get somebody who has no idea what sugar dating is, but really want to learn. And sometimes we end up, kind of coaching those girls. And sometimes those girls end up in VIP because they have like a great look or bring a lot to the table, and they don't. And then we have the ones that don't know what they want, but have applied and are trying to figure it out. Mm-hmm. They seem to be the.
Well, I've definitely met a few girls on Seeking, or chatted with a few, that think they deserve to be with a guy with a Learjet.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
you don't do really well with them.
Yeah. I mean, you're a dime a dozen. Sorry to tell you, but anyway, they're like, well, my monthly allowance is $10,000 or $15,000 a month, and whatever, and
my those girls don't do real well with us, actually, because we really want authentic relationships and we don't want transactions. Mm-hmm. I always say, I make jokes about this, and I know you guys are pretty open-minded, but I say, if your allowance is for what? What are you doing? Mm-hmm. What is your allowance for? And when those numbers come out of the sky for $10,000 a month, or I'm not sure what they're doing or what that is. I haven't even gotten their name yet.
Yeah.
I have been on Seeking, or we have been on Seeking as a team in a couple of years since they got out of the sugar dating business. There wasn't really any need to monitor them anymore. They really seem to be the people that come to us, men and women from Seeking, seem to be very confused on what's going on with Seeking, and are asking us questions. Mm-hmm. I said,
yep.
I read the press release in June 2022. They're no longer in the sugar dating business. I don't think you're allowed to say sugar dating out there. anymore, but people seem to cling to the old way it was and still looking for that. So I'm confused. I hear the sugar sites in general, people are becoming more and more frustrating on them. So that's one of the reasons I'm getting pressure from my board to grow, because the opportunity seems to be right, because people are really fed up with sugar dating sites.
How big is your company?
I have. Now, how do you want to measure it? There's some things I can say and some things I can't say. Obviously, it's a privately held company.
Like, do you have quite a few employees, or?
One year we sent out 150 1099s.
Wow!
So that was people around the country that had referred or recruited for us or things. But as far as the core staff, it's a remote company.
Yeah.
But I have people from promoting the company from, Canada to Florida to Fargo, North Dakota. I've never been there, but I was surprised.
Fargo, North Dakota.
We've done a match there twice. That's the only reason I know Fargo besides the movie.
Well, there's a lot of guys with money there, and they have a hard time finding people, so...
That's what we found out. That's why we got 2 matches from Fargo. Yeah. We matched a guy from Fargo with a girl from Vancouver.
There you go.
And they went on a date in the Philippines.
Oh.
That was I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
That was early. Years ago, another Fargo guy.
Wow.
You're listening to Secrets of a Sugar Daddy.
Question: real estate in California. What the Seriously, can someone help? What's an escrow? What's an ARM? What is an REO? What is pre-approval? Can I get pre-approval? Why is inventory so low? Why are interest rates so high? Oh, interest rates not so high? How low is low? How not so high is right?
Before you go down the road of questions, get expert help at championsofhome.com. California Association of Realtors. Who's your realtor?
Now back to the show with your host, Marcus.
Well, and I have to say that the application that the women fill out, I mean, you might vet the men way more than the women, but the application for the women was no joke. I mean, there was a initial one with just some basic information, and that's the one I think that got hung up on me with the technical issue. But then there was a longer application that came through where there was lots of questions, and Patrick, your applications are really specific about like asking the women what they want, what they're looking for, what's their past experience with sugar dating. And I appreciated that, because that shows that you're trying to understand like both sides of it, what the guys are looking for, what the women are looking for, and then take us through your process with the women, because you do end up interviewing them, right, at some point?
Right. Well, you have to interview the women. Women usually, before their match, are interviewed a couple times. Usually, if they look like they're a great applicant or somebody that's going to be in VIP that we're going to be pushing and really trying to match, we do a preliminary interview. But then when it comes time for a specific candidate, the candidate, even with an interview and all those informations we know, from everything from do they have food allergies to do they have pets, to will they date a married man, even with all that information and all the information we take from the gentleman out of the hour and 15-minute interview, there's still other questions that we have to do to match. And matchmaking is a little bit of a misnomer. It's really about introducing people with the highest propensity to form the relationships that they're looking for. So the relationship questions become really important. Some of them aren't necessarily on the application. What the person wants is on there, but we really need to get in dialogue with what type of they're looking for. Would you be open to marriage if it continued? Would you be open to having children? Would you be open to just traveling the world? Would you be open to only seeing twice a month? What type of relationship is it you want, that the gentleman wants? And it's a lot of question and dialogue to do it. So the more information we have ahead of time, the better chance we know if it's a match. But the reason that we are capitalists, by the way, just like all sugar dating people. We are capitalists, and the more effective we can match, the less time we're spending, the higher our profit margin is. So
that's right.
There's a real reason why we want to understand, and we want to make good matches.
And Patrick, you have a really unique way of categorizing married men I think you and I had a brief discussion about that. There's like 3 categories, I think you said. Men who are married and their wives don't know. Men who are married and their wives don't care.
Oh, yeah, wow.
And then men who are married and their wives, like, they openly agree to it, like they're in an open marriage. Did I get that right? Like the 3 categories?
Yeah, I think one of them is that they don't ask, don't tell.
Yeah.
One is they're open and allowed and encouraged sometimes, and then there are the ones where the wives don't know about. And we won't match a married man with a woman without letting the woman know that the man is married.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah,
'Cause so many men on Seeking hide that little detail that, you know, the women never are really sure what they're getting into.
What I learned a long time ago, which I found very interesting, and we always survey, and we haven't surveyed recently, but it always comes out the same. About 50% of our candidates, women, will date a married guy. It always comes in like 48, 52, so will date a married guy. Out of those 50% to say yes, 50% of them prefer dating a married guy. I learned this from the beautiful partners I've had over the years from women that say that married men want less and give more.
Yeah, that's my original co-host Amy echoed the same thing. She just preferred married men who
they want less and give more.
Yeah,
and they've also proven that they could be in a relationship. So
there's a couple things there. Yeah, because she just didn't want the relationship pressure because, you know, she had way too many people putting that pressure on her, and she's like, "No, I'm not. Right. I'm not ready to get married. I'm not ready to have kids." And anyway, so I get that stat. What's your current status?
I'm the most single man in America.
Oh yeah.
I have some health problems. I'm recovering from cancer right now. I'm single. I have a lot of beautiful women in my life that I help. Yeah, you can call it sugaring, or you can call it whatever you want to call it. I have a lot of beautiful women that I take care of. I invest in women. I invest in female businesses and things like that. But I'm currently single. No sugar baby, no girlfriend, no wife, no mistress, no nothing. So.
What is one
I want to go to my Sugarpalooza.
Yeah. Are you coming to Sugarpalooza?
We're going to see what the doctors say. So, as far as I'm concerned, I'm going, but the doctors have a little bit to say about it.
Oh, that would be great to have you there. Yeah, it's an amazing time, and what's great about this little community that we've built, and you're experiencing it too, longer than we have. I've been sugar dating for 10 years and then doing the podcast for 5, but it's the most open and honest community that I've ever been a part of. And it's just pretty much, you know, here it is. If you don't like it, that's fine. I'll move on. If you do like it, then, you know, let's continue. But there's not, now, of course, you know, you hear stories of the women who are like, yeah, we've been dating for 6 months and then I find out he's married. But for the most part, men do reveal that in the beginning, or they reveal issues or whatever.
We make them tell us, and here's why. There's a lot of women who have gone through divorce and infidelity in their childhood, family of origin things, that it has left scars, etc., and they don't ever want to do that to another family, etc. Mm-hmm. So you don't have to tell the woman you're dating your last name, because I've already vetted you and I know who you are, and I make sure that you're safe. We make sure that you've never been in any civil, harassment, lawsuits and things like this. So I know that you're clean, but you don't have to tell the woman the last name, but we will tell them if you're married. It's one of our rules, and we were founded by females. So we have a lot of rules like that.
Patrick, do you have a really crazy sugar story that you've been through when you were sugar dating?
I can see the grin on his face. He has many
How much
stories.
time do we have left?
I've gone on, as of 2017, 1,000 first sugar dates.
You know what? That's amazing, because I've said this on the podcast, so I've been doing it since 2016, and I'm like, yeah, I've met at least 300-400 girls first dates? At least 300 or 400. Probably more than that. I haven't counted, but yeah, you're at 1,000, huh?
Well, 2 dates a week for 10 years is 1,000.
Well, there you go. And yeah, I'm probably close to that.
Doing a lot.
Yeah.
I used to sometimes have 3 dates in a night. So when I was really vetting,
3 dates in a night.
yeah, I did before I launched Sugar Matchmaking. I did a lot of sugar dating myself, and we did kind of what Sugar Paloozas. We did Sugar Adventures.
Okay.
And we would do Sugar Adventures, which would take place. We've done stuff in Prague, L.A., Vegas, everywhere, where we put a bunch of guys, a bunch of girls together for these wonderful type of things. But I think what Sugar Palooza is a lot like. So I dated a lot of women and vetted a lot of women, and then I had this huge database of women who wanted to be matched, and then the women built the business with me and launched the Caviar Dating Club and then Sugar Matchmaking. So.
Wow.
Yeah, very cool.
You're listening to Secrets of a Sugar Daddy.
Question: real estate in California. What the Seriously, can someone help? What's an escrow? What's an ARM? What is an REO? What is pre-approval? Can I get pre-approval? Why is inventory so low? Why are interest rates so high? Oh, interest rates not so high? How low is low? How not so high is right?
Before you go down the road of questions, get expert help at championsofhome.com. California Association of Realtors. Who's your realtor?
Now back to the show with your host, Marcus.
Yeah, Sugar Palooza, it started out as me enjoying my favorite artists who come through town. I get a suite, and I'm like, this is how it started. I was like, hey, I got a suite, a 22-person suite. I'm going to invite a bunch of my current and past sugar babies and just see what happens when they all get in a room. And it was the most amazing thing. They all got along because they were like-minded, right? So then that was for Dua Lipa. And then the next artist came to town that I wanted to see, which was Taylor Swift. And I got a suite. Again, we invited people from the sugar community. And again, they all just bonded, became really good friends, kept in touch. And I'm like, this is so interesting, this little community. And so that it's just a celebration of something I enjoy. I just like people joining me in on that, and then a celebration of the podcast and the community that we've built.
I think it's fantastic what you built out there in Arizona. We had very similar things that happened with Sugar Adventures. I had more and more women kept on telling me the same thing. Guys lie, and this and that. And then I would exchange women's phone numbers, and they would start talking. When I was first sugar dating, I was about late 30s, early 40s. And I was always open. Like, look, I travel for work. I'd love to meet you. We can go out to dinner. I'm not looking for anything serious. But I took really good care of the girls and was always very honest about who I was, what I was doing, and what I was looking for, and made some of my best friendships. I'm still friends with some of these women almost 20 years later. And some of them I've helped get married, get sugar daddies, go on, build businesses, invest in their businesses, and they've gone, on their way, but still can call them up and say, hey, guess what? There's something like Sugar Palooza, like those old Sugar Adventures we used to do back in the day. Remember those?
Yeah, it's not so much about us making matches, but matches happen. Mm-hmm. But more than that, I've seen the most amazing friendships build that will go on for a lifetime.
Yeah. The friendship word's a great topic for us, because when a woman says, my allowance is $10,000, doesn't want to know the guy's name, doesn't care what the guy looks like, I don't think that's going to be a good match. And maybe she gets that $10,000 for a month or two. But I always preach, what's better, becoming friends with somebody who happens to be very wealthy and can help you at any time for the rest of your life. Mm-hmm. And always being there for you because you invested in a sincere friendship. And I've had situations, these are great sugar stories I like. I've had situations where I've had a match, and 5, 6, 7 years later, I had a woman call me up to thank me because a sugar daddy that I introduced her to, that she wasn't even seeing anymore, she was in a horrible position. Her house was going to be foreclosed. And she called him up, and he paid off the mortgage well over $200,000.
Wow.
Because he was very, very wealthy, so it was nothing to him. They were great friends. They had a great relationship for 2 or 3 years. Hadn't really kept in touch. But she called me up to tell me that story and thanked me because they were true friends. Now, what's better, getting a $10,000 allowance for 2 weeks and a sack of purse, or having a lifelong friend because you were there for that person and you made a real friendship? So to me, when sugar dating starts with friendships, anything is possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's what's powered me to continue on my journey and this whole podcast, is because I keep witnessing that over and over and over. The best friends of my life right now, besides just a few, are the people I've met through this style of dating. I met it's the craziest thing too, is like how you can connect with people with vast age differences and still have a lot in common and still have a magical friendship. Kimmy came and visited me. She was one of my co-hosts. I met her when she was 21, like 4 years ago. And you would think, well, what do you have in common with a 21-year-old? I'm like, besides her just being absolutely gorgeous and hot.
Well, you're gorgeous and hot, so you had that in common.
But such a brilliant mind she has, such zest for life, such passion for excelling and doing something with her life. And I can really appreciate that. And then when I see somebody really wanting to get ahead in life and working very hard to do that, it just makes me want to be a part of them, or just to even be there for them in a time of need, because I see they're actually trying. Nothing worse than, helping somebody financially and see them do nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
And they're just wasting their time, wasting their life. In my very first sugar baby, I actually was really in love with her, and she was in love with me, and we dated for 1.5 years, but it just finally ended because I'm giving her opportunity after opportunity, and I'm seeing her not take advantage of anything that I'm giving her. And she had all these dreams and things that she wanted to do, and then in the end, she just didn't do any of them. And I'm not going to sink my time and finances into a black hole. I'm just not going to do it.
Yeah.
I'm with you. That's one of the major complaints of men. And when I coach men about things like allowances, I say, before you start thinking about allowance, one, see if it's something that you want to invest in, if there's going to be a true relationship there. See what they need. Strategic money to really help a woman. Education, rent, transportation, things like that are much better than just giving a blank check or a $10,000 thing so she can go shopping. I always encourage my gentlemen who I coach and work with, and I've worked with some guys for well over a decade, or with their relationships, is to invest in their future too. I'm really big on education and businesses. We had Pretty Girl Funding, which actually is how Sugar Matchmaker was born, which was a way for men to invest in a woman's dream, whether it be starting a nonprofit. We're very proud to have started many nonprofits for women over the years. Many women have gotten through undergrad. We've got women who've gotten their JDs, their MDs. We're very, very proud of that, as well as start various businesses, a lot of businesses. So those type of investments, I think, are much better than just giving an allowance for them to go buy a pair of shoes.
Yeah. Right.
Patrick, how could men or women get through to you if they're interested in what you've got going on here? How do you want them to contact you?
We take phones. We pick up the phone. You can email us, sugarmatchmaking.com or authenticmatching.com. /elevate is a way to kind of sneak into the VIP really quick.
Okay.
We take that, people who come in that way, a little bit more serious because we know that you're authentic and maybe you heard it on this particular podcast, so we'll take you more serious. But we answer questions, and you can pick up the phone and talk to someone live. Everything we do is done ultimately on a phone or a Zoom call to really get to know people.
Well, this was fascinating. I don't know how I wasn't aware of your company already, but
That was very fine.
yeah, but
Nikki blew our cover.
yeah, she sure did. But I'm glad she found you because this was a very good interview. I definitely would use your service if I needed it, and I see only beneficial things coming from that. So
yeah, and I bet if you come to Sugarpalooza, a lot of people will want to meet you after hearing this interview.
Yeah, no, I do really want to go, and I'm pushing very, very hard. I'm on my almost last chemo treatment, so it's supposed to be cancer-free. I get to ring a bell and dance with a bunch of pretty nurses when I am chemo-free. Maybe you can put my little video that I'm going to Sugarpalooza next.
That would be fantastic. Well, thanks for coming on. We really appreciate you sharing this information, and it sounds like you've had a lot of experiences similar to ours, and you're all about helping the sugar community, so that's great.
Keep on doing what you're doing. I love this podcast. I've stumbled across a couple ones over the years, but with you guys is very authentic, which is our big word. You guys are very sincere, and I think that you bring a lot to the table. And don't retire after 5 years. Do it for another 5. I think you're doing great work.
I appreciate that. All right.
Thank you, Patrick.
Yeah, so find Patrick at sugarmatchmaking.com and let him know that we sent you. We'd really appreciate that. And then if you want to share your crazy sugar dating stories, we'd love to hear those. Go to our website, secretsofasugardaddy.com. Follow us on Instagram. We're easy to find. YouTube, same thing. And then most importantly, to help out the show, we'd really appreciate it. And to become a member of our family, join us at Patreon.com/Secrets of a Sugar Daddy Podcast. A lot of benefits there. It's very cheap, and it goes to a good cause. It goes to my Sugar Baby Fund. No, actually it doesn't. It goes to supporting this podcast. It's very, very expensive to put on. This free show that you get to listen to does have some cost, and we really appreciate any help that you would provide just by becoming a $15 a month member, and you get a lot of benefits out of that. You get to join our family. Nikki?
Great interview.
Yeah, thanks for referring this gentleman. I really appreciate that.
Yep.
So keep on the good fight. All right, until next time. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us. If you'd like to connect or even be on the show, we'd love to hear from you at secretsofasugardaddy.com.
Question: real estate in California. What the Seriously, can someone help? What's an escrow? What's an ARM? What is an REO? What is pre-approval? Can I get pre-approval? Why is inventory so low? Why are interest rates so high? Oh, interest rates not so high? How low is low? How not so high is right?
Before you go down the road of questions, get expert help at championsofhome.com. California Association of Realtors. Who's your realtor?